On today's Mega News, we are downloading the latest information for Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. From the second trailer, the latest Mr. Famous news, and more. So let's jack into the net and... what's that? What about the D-Blog? I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyways, today we got a breakdown of the online features, other adjustments, and even possibly a confirmation that we are indeed getting Boktai for Battle Network 6, and more where that came from. So without further ado, let's go. Welcome to your Mega News for December 14th, 2022. Coming to you from the ShadowRockZX YouTube channel and the MegaMan.EXE.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been quite a while since we have caught up. In fact, there hasn't been a Mega News since the Tokyo Game Show. But this video is going to be our comeback tour. It's been a long process, but I'm finally moved into the new place, so it's only appropriate that we bring back Mega News with another roundup from the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. So here's the deal. On the night of December 12th, we were all wondering to ourselves, gee, is Capcom going to do anything for Mega Man's 35th anniversary this year? It is this Saturday on December 17th. Are they at least going to give us an update on the Legacy Collection, announce a new game, or anything? Well, we got our answer that night because out of nowhere, Capcom set up a premiere for a new Battle Network Legacy Collection trailer, titled the second trailer. They also promised that we would get a new edition of the Mr. Famous news segment, but besides that, no further details. And keep in mind, it's rare for Capcom to do a hype cycle for a Mega Man trailer of all things. Usually they just shadow drop the trailer and move on with their lives. The only times in recent memory they've done a hype cycle for Mega Man news was back in 2017 with the live stream for the Mega Man 30th anniversary, the faded one that announced Mega Man 11 and X Legacy Collection. I guess time will tell if we have another stream like that one for the 35th. And the only other times they've really hyped up trailers is, well, now with the Battle Network Legacy Collection, both TGS and this recent trailer. So with that in mind, you know it's going to be something pretty dang good. And indeed it was. So, I got lots of notes here to go over, so let's break down the second trailer, the Mr. Famous news, and some of the blog posts that have come out since then. Going into the trailer, I had two predictions. Release date, and a breakdown of the online features, and that's exactly what I got. Plus, even more that I wasn't expecting. So let's begin with the news we have all been anxiously waiting for, the release date. We have officially gone from a vague 2023 release date to Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection finally coming out on April 14th, 2023. This date makes sense because Capcom previously announced that Resident Evil 4 Remake was the only flagship title that they're coming out with for the rest of the quarter. Or in other words, the rest of the fiscal year, which ends in March. So really, April is the earliest you could release this collection while still outside of the fiscal year. Honestly, I'm just glad it's not the end of the year like I was low-key fearing. So hey, that opens up the possibility for a new Mega Man game to take the end of the year slot. Here's hoping. Moving on, let's talk pricing. Now hold on to your butts. This collection is going to run you quite a bit more zenny than past Legacy collections. So if you want both volumes, all 10 games, the retail version is going to run you a whopping $59.99 US. $60 for all the games. Whew, I won't lie, that's way more than I was expecting. And then if you want the individual volumes, they are going to come at $39.99 US a piece. So if you got them individually, you would be paying $80. So you're getting a $20 discount if you buy them both at the same time. The good news, however, is that the retail version is going to include both Volume 1 and 2 on a single game card or disc. It's not going to necessarily be one full collection that you select on your game console of choice. What's going to happen is you get one singular game card or disc, and when you load that into your console, you're going to have volumes 1 and 2 both appear separately on the menu of your game console. And then you can go into each volume from there to play BN 1 through 3 and then 4 through 6. If you want another example, it's exactly the same way that the Blaster Master Zero trilogy that you could buy in Japan worked. You load up your Switch cartridge and then you get BMZ 1, 2, and 3 separately on your Switch menu. That's how it's going to work. It's like having 2 games in one. As for the pricing, I won't lie, at first glance it does seem steep, and I know people are going to freak out about it, but then when you really think about it, we're not talking about Mega Man platformers that you can beat in an hour or two here. These are all full-length RPGs that can take you tens of hours to complete, maybe even hundreds if you're talking about post-game content. And then you have to consider all the development costs that come with the online features that we're about to discuss. So even though these are old games, with the amount of time you're going to be spending with it, all the online features, and all of this other awesome stuff that they're doing for this collection that we're about to go over, at this point I have reason to believe this will be the best Legacy collection to date, and you're going to get your money's worth for it. So now let's break down the trailer for real and explain to you why I think that. It's the tentpole announcement of the trailer, so we gotta start with the online features. First of all, each of the online menus are going to be accessed through the individual games by selecting the good old COM menu button from the PET menu that's now been rebranded to Network, which will then give you their own context specific options, because they do change from game to game. Overall, you can expect the vast majority of the features from the original games to return here, all presented through a new sleek Legacy Collection specific menu. Let's go over the battle options, starting with a feature that I was personally hoping for, Private Match, where you can create a room or join a room using a room code, so that others can join a NetBattle with you. Yep, this is going to be a boon for the tournament scene and live streaming purposes. Now if only the game had crossplay. On the flip side of that coin, we have public matches. This consists of both casual battles where you will battle with randoms with no stakes involved, and for the first time in series history, we have ranked battles. Like most games with a ranked system, the more net battles that you win, the higher your rank will increase. In the trailer, we saw an example of a player graduating from rank A to rank S, which appears to be similar to the rank tiers used in MegaMan.EXE Dive. Unlike Dive, however, it looks like the rank climb is going to be a bit grindy, as the network screen features a little card that displays various information, such as your username, rank, number of victories to rank up, in this case 9, that's quite a bit, but on the other hand, the rank system appears to be quite lenient, as you have to lose a whopping total of 7 times from versus players same rank or lower in order to D-rank. In addition, the card displays your battle record, 73 wins and 70 losses, talk about average. That's totally me though, as well as your longest win streak and number of battle chips in your possession. When setting up a game, you can also choose from a variety of battle rules, which mirror the options that were available in the original games. Practice mode is just a regular battle with no stakes. However, in Real Thing mode, the loser of the battle forfeits one of their battle chips to the winner. Furthermore, we have Single Battle and Triple Battle, which is a best 2 out of 3 mode. However, Triple Battle is only available for BN 3 through 6. Like I said, most NetBattle veterans should be familiar with these rules, and it's nice to see them all intact here. Now, there is one more battle type that is mentioned both in the trailer and the PlayStation blog post. However, it's a bit confusing what they mean. In the Mr. Famous News trailer, Iguchi states that Battle Network 4 players can participate in version battles and send nabbies to tournaments just like in the original games. That's right, Battle Network 4 has its free tournament mode fully intact in Legacy Collection. Now that's really hype. Just like in the original games, you can send your Dark Soul AI data to the other player's game, and then you participate in the free tournament to earn some secret chips. So judging from the trailer, one would assume version battle means a Red Sun versus Blue Moon battle or something like that. But if we head over to the PlayStation blog, we can find another comment from Iguchi on version battle, and here's what he had to say. Version battle, which preserves the rules from the original games. Now, it is true that Battle Network 4 featured a number of different battle rules. So perhaps when he says version battle, that's what he's talking about, the special modes exclusive to that game. That's the most likely case. But I won't lie, when I first read that sentence, I thought we were about to have a split where version battle has all the original rules from the games on the GBA, with all the glitches and other fun things attached to that. And then we would have a regular Legacy Collection mode that fixes some of the glitches, has other adjustments that we're going to get into in a second, and maybe a ban list for especially BN1 through 3, because boy, those games could use one. But unfortunately at this time they have not mentioned anything about a potential ban list for the chips. Poison Pharaoh meta all the way, baby! So how about those adjustments then? The most notable addition is a 20-second timer for the custom screen. Each passing turn, players will only get 20 seconds in order to select their chips and press the OK confirmation button, and if the timer reaches 0 before that, then the window will close on its own. This was done in order to keep the pacing of the battle satisfying, and yeah, a timer definitely makes a lot of sense for online PvP. You definitely don't want someone going idle on you in the middle of a battle, and this also hurries along people who are indecisive. That's a fun little bit of a challenge too, where you can't really sit and think about your strategy for too long. You just gotta adapt on the fly, which I like. That said, the devs did say the 20-second time limit can change before the final release, so keep that in mind. Another adjustment that we learned about from the Capcom blog post is quite infamous indeed. We are talking about the one and only Tree Bomb Prism combo in Mega Man Battle Network 2. In that game, if you throw a Tree Bomb chip into the same panel where a Prism chip is, the Tree Bomb will continuously hit the Prism until the wood tower rises, which can delete any enemy in the blink of an eye. This interaction was changed in Battle Network 3, where the Tree Bomb will disappear when it hits the Prism, dealing only one hit. But the question remains for BN2, is this a bug or a feature? Capcom's official ruling? It's a feature, everybody! That's because in Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, the Tree Bomb Prism glitch is going to remain intact the way it is in single player. That's right, there's going to be a difference between single player and online. In the online mode, the Tree Bomb Prism combo is going to work the same way it does in BN3. Fascinating, isn't it? Makes you wonder if there is going to be any other little differences between single player and online. As for any other adjustments made to the online mode, Iguchi says that they are set to reveal even more adjustments at a later date. That's pretty much all there is to say about online battles for now. I just hope that maybe we might see a ban list for ranked mode, and I hope they introduce more version battles for games other than BN4, because I know for a fact the original BN6 included a battle mode where you start with a randomized folder and Navi customizer based on 3 different difficulties, so that way you and your opponent are on the same playing field. I personally love that mode because it was a lot of fun, but also it helps out people who don't want to spend the time to min-max their Megamans, grind for the best chips, and figure out the best folders and strategies. That mode was just like, here's a folder, here's a setup, now make the most of it. So I hope it comes back in Legacy Collection. Still, it's pretty wild to see free tournament in BN4 become a thing. I was not expecting that, but I'm so happy it's in. Now we just need to have crossover battle announced, right? Though since it required a Boktai game, that's unlikely. At least without some major changes. More on Boktai stuff later. For now, let's discuss trading. Now at TGS, they only mentioned chip trading, but there's actually more where that came from because all the trading features from across the series are here. Starting of course with trading chips. Just like of online battles, trades can be done publicly or privately through the usual host and guest system. And while in the trade menu, the chips are displayed using high resolution artwork, which just looks glorious. Although, even though they have the high-res art for this mode, for some reason in-game, the chip art is still low resolution. And given that they claim that these are source ports, I wonder why they don't just add high-resolution art to the games themselves. I mean, they made high-resolution versions of the title screens. Unless there is a specific reason why they aren't updating the chip art in the games. Yeah, that's a head-scratcher. Otherwise, it's chip trading as you know it. There is a limitation on chip trading, however, and that is just excluding the download/event chips, and they mention other chips may be ineligible for trading, which I think that mostly means the version exclusive Giga chips. Furthermore, we have style trading for Battle Network 2 only, just like in the original game. Another original game feature is program trading for Battle Network 3 only. So who's going to grind up all those styles so we can trade around some of those exclusive programs? I'm gonna need that Set Ice program, please. We even have folder trading for Battle Network 6. For anyone not familiar, you could actually trade your entire folder to another player in MMBN6. And essentially your extra folder would be overridden by that person's folder, which means you can't edit it or anything, just use it. Originally there was a limitation that you couldn't include Giga chips in the folder that you send. However, for some reason in the Legacy Collection menu, it mentions the number of Giga chips. Interesting. And of course, we have the Compare Libraries and Records mode. Compare Libraries is only for 3 through 6. And this is mostly to make the grind for the post-game content way easier because once you compare libraries of someone, you can then go to Higsby's chip order system and order the chips that way, making completing your library that much easier. Compare Records, which is only available for Battle Network 4 through 6, is how you compare your deletion times for SP navies, version 3 navies, what have you, with other people. And of course, the lower your times, the more powerful your SP chips become, so it's definitely a good feature to have. That's all for the trading modes, but on the topic of battle chips, I did mention the download chips earlier, so what's that about? Well, they also answered the question of are we going to get those Japan exclusive event chips? And the answer is a resounding yes. So in my Tokyo Game Show video, I mentioned a claim that said you could go to the MegaMan menu and press Y on Nintendo Switch to access the download chip menu. And that claim turned out to be 100% correct, because that is how you get to the download chip menu this time around. It's somewhat similar to the Wii U Virtual Console method, where you would go to the COM menu and save, and then the secret chips would be added to your pack. Here in Legacy Collection, you can download a total of 15 chips across the series, and they can only be claimed once per save file, so if you want to claim it again, you have to make a new save file. Not like they can be traded anyways, so not really much point to that. Which chips exactly? I'm glad you asked. For Battle Network 1, we have Base. Battle Network 2 offers Gate SP and all of the Gospel battle chips. Aqua, Electric, Fire, and Wood, which means the Darkness Program events is a thing. Battle Network 3 has Punk and Base GS. Then we get into the juicy stuff for the Volume 2 games. Battle Network 4 with frickin' Pricks Power and Duo. Battle Network 5 with Leader Raid and Chaos Lord, which originally you could really only get legitimately in Battle Network 5 Double Team DS. You know, if you're not in Japan. Speaking of Japan-only chips, Battle Network 6 gives you Double Beast, Gregar, and Falzar. Now wait just a moment there. They removed at least the Gregar and Falzar chips in the US version of Battle Network 6. Like, they just scrubbed it clean, it doesn't exist in the data. So what are they playing at here? Why are they all of a sudden downloadable chips? That is a good question. Because that leads into my next topic of discussion, hailing from the Capcom blog post, with some notes written by Uchi-san from Rockman Unity. Oh boy, what has Uchi-san got for us today? Well, he's got the bombshell. The question we've been waiting to be answered. Are we getting that Japanese exclusive content? Here's what he had to say about it. The games included in this collection are based on the Japanese versions of each game, and the code had to be rewritten as a result. So, for this collection, the English versions will have content equivalent to the Japanese versions of each game. Whoa, holy crap. You know, for months now, we were pouring through the trailers and noticing little things like how in Battle Network 1, the English version was still using the Japanese icon for the normal element chips. And we just had the question in the back of our minds, is this collection just the Japanese versions of the games? Well, good old Uchi-san there just confirmed it for us. Yes, they are the Japanese versions. In previous Legacy collections, if you wanted to experience the Japanese version of each game, you had to change your language and then access the games that way, but they would still be in Japanese where most people can't really read what's going on. Yeah, that's no longer a thing in Battle Network Legacy Collection because they're just straight up the Japanese versions but translated for their respective regions. And as a side effect to that, as Uchi-san mentioned, that means we're getting all that sweet Japanese exclusive content in our English versions. In theory, this is like EXE Guys 11's translation patch for EXE 6. It's the Japanese version but using the English script. That means you still have the map system from the Japanese version, the extra undernet and graveyard areas are there, and you know what that also could mean, folks? It's very possible that the previously removed Boktai content is back in Battle Network 6. Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for! That's what it's all about! Whoa! Holy crap, you guys. If that's for real, that is a real dream come true right there. It's one of those things that the community asks for all the time, just like the online net battles, but it just never became a thing because for various reasons Capcom just wouldn't do it. But it looks like we may be getting both those things fulfilled, and that alone makes this Legacy collection 100% worth it, even if it is $60. Now, some people out there might want to tell you to be hesitant on the Boktai confirmed thing, because throughout the trailers they were careful not to show at least too much Boktai content. However, that doesn't mean that Boktai is completely absent, because Reploid21XX through Sunny did spot a instance of the Gun del Sol 2 chip in the Chinese trailer. So it's not like Boktai is completely scrubbed from the games. So either Capcom has retained the license for the Boktai series for the case of Battle Network, or you know, these days Konami is still pretty buddy-buddy of other developers. Heck, they just had an announcement with Castlevania and Dead Cells. So I don't really see a reason why Konami would say no to Capcom using their IP, especially because it was already worked out in the past. Not to mention, Kojima himself, the creator of the Boktai series, actually tweeted out about the Battle Network series whenever the collection got announced. We covered that here on this channel, in fact. And although Kojima doesn't work at Konami anymore, who knows, maybe he knew something about this. So if I had to be a hopeful man, I do think that Boktai content is here across the board. Maybe not crossover battle because that game pitted MegaMan against ShadowRockZX and then Django against ShadowRockZX and his own Boktai games. So you would technically have to play Boktai in order to do crossover battle at all, and the collection isn't really about Boktai specifically, so I don't know how you even make that work unless you say screw it, we'll just have 2 instances of MegaMan games playing it. The other big question is how they're going to handle the Boktai crossover chips, because some of those were only available through the crossover battles. Maybe they'll find a workaround for that. After all, they got freaking free tournament in here, and that's how you get the secret chips for BN4, and obviously version exclusive Navi chips can be obtained through trading. So since the Boktai chips aren't in the download chips section, if they are still including those, they had to have some kind of workaround in mind. One easy way they could probably do it is if you remember the minigame in Bannerwork 5 where you had to defeat 100 fighters with Lan fending them off with a stick. Maybe if you repeat that minigame you can earn crossover points that way, or have some other organic way to earn crossover points. That might be fine if they can't do crossover battle. Other than that, the only other thing to keep in mind is that the Boktai scenario for BN6 was never officially translated since they just straight up cut it out. Which means for the first time we're getting an official English translation for that, assuming it's still in. And that's some extra work right there. Enough extra work in fact that I think this stuff requires its own trailer to properly go over how they're handling Boktai. So if you ask me, I think they are going to touch more on Boktai stuff in a future trailer or blog post or something. If not, then I guess we'll find out in April. Capcom still hasn't mentioned if they are touching the original scripts of the games at all either, so that will be fascinating to see. Oh, but maybe they are, because we did spot one localization change in BN6. You may have noticed this already, but when you watch the records section of the trailer, they have a list of the different Navis from that game, and what did you know? The era of SpoutMan is finally over, because for Legacy Collection, it looks like his name has officially been changed back to AquaMan. Very nice. For those unfamiliar, he was AquaMan in Bannerwork 4, and then when the NT Warrior anime got around to him, they called him SpoutMan, and for whatever reason, maybe a fear of legal action from DC, that change carried over to BN6 where he became SpoutMan. But no more in Legacy Collection. They decided to keep it consistent and change it back to AquaMan. I mean, since 4 and 6 are literally in the same volume, it would be weird if he just changed his name randomly throughout the collection. It's good that they're keeping it consistent. And that further leads credence to maybe they are making some minor changes in the script if they're going in and changing names, but that remains to be seen. As for other adjustments, Archie-san does reconfirm the thing that Iguchi mentioned at TGS, that after beating Bannerwork 6, the incident/panic music would still be playing in the real world. And that's just because Iguchi forgot to set the flag for changing the music back to normal, but now in Legacy Collection they have fixed that, which is very, very nice. And Archie-san just mentions that they've done even more adjustments where that came from, but they don't go into specifics right now. Finishing up the Capcom blog post, there is one more funny mention we have here, and that's about the Z-Saber chip. First of all, they actually spelled it correctly in the blog post, with a B instead of a V in the original BN4, so maybe they fixed that too. But anyway, here's what they have to say about it. This chip had a very unique way of being obtained in the original MegaMan Bannerwork 4. Because of that, the chip could also be obtained via a lotto number at Higsby's shop. Well, they got Higsby's name wrong, but I digress. This number was never made public, but was recently discovered. Shoutouts to the Rockman.EXE zone. The Z-Saber chip will still be available in the Legacy Collection version of MegaMan Bannerwork 4 as well. So yeah, this is actually a very recent thing where the community found a lotto code number for the Z-Saber chip that had been hidden all this time for BN4. And it's just really funny that Capcom went out of their way to acknowledge that discovery. If you thought that Capcom doesn't listen to what the players are saying or what they're doing, oh, you would be wrong. They're watching. Oh, they're watching. And you know who else is watching? MegaMan.EXE himself, of course, complete with Andrew Francis's voice. Which, by the way, Protodude posted a cameo commission where Andrew Francis himself confirmed that he is reprising his role as Mega Man in the collection. Good for him, he seems really excited about it. If you want to check out the cameo for yourself, I'll have a link to it in the description. He's back, baby!
Yeah, baby!
And this time, our boy Andrew Francis has got some sick new gear to show off too. That's because when you pre-order Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, pre-orders are up today by the way, you get a couple of skins for the 3D Mega Man in the menu. Not in-game, just the PET menu, or should I say the pet menu now? Either way, Volume 1 gets you Hub Style, and Volume 2 has Dark Mega Man. It's a shame we can't switch these skins in both volumes, but yeah, that's some pretty good picks. I like it. I'll definitely be rocking the Dark Mega Man since that's the closest to Shadow Rock you're gonna get. In addition, you get 2 different special remixes available in the music player for each volume. Volume 1 has Hometown Pop Rock version, and Shooting Enemy dance version, then Volume 2 features Central Town Kawaii Future Bass Edition, and Liberation Mission piano version. I've gotta say, I've never heard the town theme so rockin' before. It's definitely a different experience, but I like it. It's not mentioned whether these special remixes might appear in the games themselves like they did in ZeroZX Legacy Collection for their pre-order music. It just mentions that it's gonna be in the music player, so that's a shame, but whatever. That's what we got mods for. If you want these pre-order bonuses, you have from today until April 14th to snag them. There is a catch however, and that is if you want to get the pre-order bonuses, you have to get the full collection for $60. Heck, I've checked on each of the stores and you can't even go and pre-order the individual volumes. There's no option for that, so it's either all or nothing. If you do miss the pre-order window, I wouldn't be too worried about it because they do say some bonuses may be made available separately at a later date. So it's good to know that it may not be gone forever if you miss it the first time. Oh, and here's a fun fact they shared about the 3D Mega Man model and the collection menu. They said staff members from the Mega Man Star Force series and Mega Man 11 helped create the 3D Mega Man.EXE model. Hey yo, we got that Star Force name drop. But sadly, no mention of Star Force Legacy Collection. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more special, as Japan always does every time there's a new Mega Man title, the Capcom store is offering their own Japanese exclusive We Are Still Connected Collector's Edition, which includes a physical copy of the game, 2 LAN and Mega Man shot glasses, so you can drink all of your salt away when you lose in net battles, and 2 acrylic coasters, which oddly enough feature artwork from Rockman Unity's 2019 April Fool's post. Oh, and if you order on eCapcom, you get an exclusive Battle Chip keychain featuring the Legacy Collection key art. In my opinion, this collector's edition is a little underwhelming for what you get. Not bad, but I think I might pass on this one. Unless they come out with a super duper collector's edition with a cool poster or something. Maybe even a statue. Something. For the last Legacy Collection related news I have here, this one's a bit old actually, but it has recently come to light that MegaMan Bad Network Legacy Collection on Steam is going to feature the infamous Denuvo DRM, which is anti-tampering and anti-piracy software that, well, makes it so you can't really pirate the game. In itself, I don't mind that, but people have reported things in the past about Denuvo, like slowdowns in performance, and there was also a notice on the Legacy Collection page that you can't register the game 5 times in a single day on different computers. To be fair, I can't imagine a scenario where I register the game on 5 different computers in a single day, but it is a bit silly, I agree, and slowdown is never fun. On the bright side though, usually Denuvo goes away after a few months or so it's not going to stick around forever. It's mostly so sales can be ensured during those critical first month or so of the game's life. I'm not going to defend it, but at least it won't be there forever. Meanwhile, there was another scare that there might not be keyboard support for the Steam version, because a notice popped up for that too, that it could only be played with a controller. However, that notice recently got removed, so it looks like keyboard support is going to be there after all, so that's a relief. It would be silly if we didn't have that. In fact, of all the Mega Man games out there, I think Battle Network works very well on a keyboard. Well folks, that about wraps it up for the collection itself, but I still got one more thing for you. So to commemorate the release of Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, Capcom has decided to re-release the Rockman.EXE anime and even the Mega Man NT Warrior dub. So for Rockman.EXE, from today until May 31st, 2023, they are re-releasing all seasons of the Rockman.EXE anime, and they are going to become available on YouTube via Capcom Japan's official YouTube channel. In fact, the first 10 episodes are already uploaded, and they're not geo-blocked, so you can enjoy them for yourself, although there's no subtitles. But hey, if you wanna check it out for yourself, I'll leave a link to that in the description. Meanwhile, in North America, Seasons 1 and 2 of the Mega Man NT Warrior dub will be aired on Capcom USA's Twitch channel and uploaded to the Mega Man YouTube channel for free in early 2023. Now, they mentioned Seasons 1 and 2, which I don't think includes access. And if it doesn't, oh man, that's a real shame. Because if they did include access, there was actually a little bit of a lost episode that featured SpoutMan, or AquaMan, whatever you want to call him. It did air on Kids WB once, but it never really was shown again, so it's essentially become lost media ever since. So it would have been cool if we got the episode recovered that way, but since it looks like they may not be covering access, I'm not sure. It would be nice to have the entire NT Warrior dub freely available again though, and it's nice that they're at least re-releasing all seasons of the Rockman.EXE anime, because back then, when Battle Network first came out, the anime really was part of the experience. You would watch the show on Saturday mornings or whatever, and then play Battle Network on your Game Boy Advance, and then you bought the toys at the store, or maybe even the trading card game, whenever that was a thing. It was a bit of a magical time back then. So really, having the games back and the anime back to an extent, it feels like it's the 2000s all over again. And that is pretty mega cool. Isn't that right, Andrew Francis?
Yeah, baby!
Alright folks, it's been a long video, that's for sure, but hey, it's the first Mega News back in a while, so it's fine. Honestly, we got so much Bad Network news out of just a little 95-second trailer, and a little bit more than that. What I got out of all this is, this really is going to be the definitive way to play these games when they come out April 14th. And that's got me so stoked for this collection. I really do think this is going to be the best Legacy collection yet, and hopefully when I review it in April that still holds true. In the meantime, I would like to thank all of you so much for tuning in and hearing me ramble about this series that I love so much. For more things on this collection and Mega Man in general, please stay tuned to ShadowRockZX, and be sure to check out the MegaMan.EXE.com, that's the MMBNEXE.com, for all sorts of articles and videos like this one on the Mega Man series. I'd also like to take this time to give a huge shout out to all of our YouTube channel members. Your support and contributions to the channel do not go unnoticed, because it seriously helped us out a lot, especially with the move recently. But now that I'm here, we got all the stuff here, I can finally get back to making content as usual, once I'm done unpacking, that is. But anyway, thank you so much to all of our channel members, including our SA class supporters, Manguy, Spazer, our GA class supporters, Rico Syndrome, Adrian Cauldron, Chaos Bonkai, and Austin Buford, and our man taking advantage of the brand new UH class supporter tier, which includes a game request for streams, LML123. Thank you so much, everyone. Well, until the next Mega News, folks, this is ShadowRock logging out for now. I hope you have a wonderful day or night, and rock on!